Okay, so just to start off, so we're ready for a couple rounds just to show you guys how the gameplay works. So your first turn, you draw 2 cards, and then is the action phase where you play as many cards as you can. This is the card I talked about, which I believe was in the first video, where that means you have to discard a card in order to play this card, and this one lets you target any one player. So Sheriff is first, and he doesn't know who Deputy is. So his first turn is kind of maybe a little slow, as he doesn't want to hurt his deputy, as he needs his deputy to survive. However, we know when we were looking through the roles that this person's the deputy, but we don't know that for real. This person knows he is. All right. So what he would want to do, if he want to do anything, he would want to keep his bang, because he doesn't want to shoot anyone. He doesn't know, so he's going to want to keep the rifle. But he can try to save himself by placing the barrel, which will give him a possible miss, a scope, so now he could reach any one player. And as we talked about in the video, since it's just starting, each player is 1, 2, and either 3 or 4, or 1, 2, 1, 2. So since the distance is -1, everyone is can be targeted. If he were to play this bang, he could shoot anyone. Let's say he didn't play the scope first and he had the Springfield and he wanted to do that first, he could target any one player, so it doesn't matter how far away they are. If they have any hideouts or anything, you can shoot them. However, if they have like a barrel, they could possibly miss. Green border cards stay on your field until the end of your next turn, like I said. And I guess it might be a little too early to play the Gatling. So when your turn is over, you cannot have more cards in your hand than the remaining lives you have. Since it is the first turn, no one's gotten hit. So he could have up to 4 cards in his hand by the time his turn is over. And now we're going to go over here to the Outlaw, and I don't know what he has. Oh, there's that jail card I wanted to talk about. Alright, so what he's going to want to do, he's going to draw 2 cards. He has an Iron Plate and a Rattlesnake. This is good. Some outlaws attack the sheriff right away. When I've been outlaw the last few times, I've been trying to trick, the sheriff into thinking I was the deputy, so I didn't attack him right away. But for now, he's going to play an Iron Plate. He's going to play a Rattlesnake. This one will be kind of eager here, and he will attack, and he will play the Rattlesnake. Just a FYI real quick, cards like these, at least the way I play, when you do get hit, these are cards there are certain cards like this one where you're not able to miss and you have to take the hit. And when I'm sure we'll get some more in a few turns. He's also going to play this Daringringer, so he's going to be a target. Let's see, he's going to shoot a player at a distance of 1. So right now he can shoot either him or him, but since it's a green border card, he cannot do it right away. But we also talked about this line here means it has a second effect. He's going to be to draw a card, and since it doesn't say from a player, it's going to be draw a card from this from the deck there. He's going to He's also going to play a Pepperbox. It's not the same name as the Daringringer, so he could play this even though it has pretty much the same similar effect. The Daringringer, it only means of 1. This one, he could be at a reachable distance, so if he had the scope, he could attack anyone. You cannot put the sheriff into jail as they are a sheriff. So, let's just say he makes a wild guess and says he's going to put this guy in jail. Some cards, like the blue border ones, if they were put on you from another player, those are going to be the first things you do before you actually take your turn, before the draw phase. And he hasn't lost a life yet, so he cannot gain more lives, so he's just going to keep the beer into his hand. And I'm actually kind of surprised he did not draw the beer, but he only has 4 cards, so... Oh no, he played the Rattlesnake on the track. Okay, this guy's turn. I think this guy is also the Outlaw. No, this guy's a Renegade, but we don't know that for sure. Well, Sheriff doesn't know for sure. And I have kind of a small table here, but he has a howitzer. So next turn, if he were to play it, he's gonna target every player. This is the card that's the famous miss card right there. Let's see what else he has in his hand. Saved. That lets him save another player from getting one hit, and if they are still alive, he draws 2 cards from their hand or from the deck, and it's up to them. It's his choice. Ghost. Ghost is also pretty fun to play, but it's kind of hard because there's only 2 of them unless you play with one of the expansions I was talking about, a fistful of cards or a Wild West show where they might have this effect. What Ghost does, though, you pretty much play on someone who's already been eliminated, and they come back to life. Well, they play as a ghost, but they cannot gain lives. They cannot come back to life. Once this card is discarded, they're eliminated again. So this guy has a reachable distance of 1, so you can't do anything. But he knows this guy has been attacking the sheriff. So let's just say he'll want to play the bang on this guy. You can either take the hit, but he has a mist here, so he is not afraid to use the iron plate. And since it was played last turn, he could use it as long as his turn was over. And he doesn't really have good cards in his hand right now this turn. And he can't play the howitzer, so we're going to go to this guy. Okay, this guy I believe is the other outlaw, but first he has to do gel. So what will happen, so you're going to draw, and if it's a heart, it equals discarding the gel to play normally, or else it is discarded and you skip your turn. So drawing, they will be like in quotes as well on some cards. You do it, and if you have the same effect, you get to do it. Since he had to have the heart to pretty much escape the gel, he loses his turn. Next is going to be the deputy's turn. All right, here we go. So he drew the Reverend Carabine to give him a distance of 4. The higher numbers kind of matter more when there's more people. I believe up to 8 players. Maybe more if you have more mats, because you have a big enough deck for it. So why not? He has a panic, so he's going to draw a card from any one player, or the player distance of at a distance of 1. Since Sheriff and Outlaw B here doesn't have anything to stop them, he could take any one thing. He could maybe what he's going to do, he's going to kind of give up his role here, or show his role. He's going to take the Rattlesnake card to save the Sheriff from getting hit, and he's going to play it on maybe the player who played it on the Sheriff. He also has Indians. So with Indians, that means you're attacking every other player. That player, I do it like in order. That player has to play a bang to shoot off their Indian, or they have to take a hit. Indians is one of those cards where if you don't play the bang, you cannot miss it. So if this guy were to have the barrel, he just takes the hit. So he would go up to 3 lives. I think this guy had a bang here, but he didn't want to shoot anyone. Oh, he didn't. This guy, we never saw what was in his hand, but let's see. So he has a mist. If he did play last turn, he would not be able to miss the Indian attack, and he doesn't have one either. So Deputy actually did kind of good there. He didn't take out, but he hit both of them. He's also going to play a bang himself, since it wasn't played already on his turn. He just has a beer, so he takes another hit. And I just want to say, if it's your last life and you're going to take your last hit, the only way you're saved is if no one else saves you, is by playing a beer card. So if this person were to get his last hit, he could play the beer to keep himself alive. But if he had the canteen card, it just lets him gain a life, but it's not a beer. So even if he had just this one, he would still be eliminated, show his role, and since he's outlawed. This whoever killed him gets the 3 lives. But you can only play that to save your last life. You cannot play it to save your second life left or whatever. And Deputy is actually kind of kicking butt here. He has the fanning card, and at least the way I play is, so it counts as your number 1 bang turn, your number 1 bang per turn. And since he already played the bang, that means he cannot play this one since it counts as the same thing. But it does have the same effect, but it also technically has the same name. So basically, if he were to play this one instead, he could target any one player that he could reach and shoots one person next to him. So he could either be like, pew pew, to this guy and this guy, or this guy and this guy. But with this one, they are able to play a mist if they wanted to, or they take the hit. He hasn't taken a hit yet, so he would just gain his life here, or he doesn't do anything. Okay, so we're on the sheriff's second turn, and if you play with the expansions like the High Noon or the Fistful of Cards, they will have a back according to the expansion. And if it's once this the sheriff's second turn, you flip it over, and you do the effect, and it lasts until the card is replaced until the next turn. So the next round, the second High Noon card will be played, and so on and so forth. Some cards bring back people to life, some cards heal, some cards take away people's stuff. But with High Noon, a Fistful of Cards, and Wild West Show, you could mix those together, but you could only have one of something, one of the cards that say the name. So for High Noon, this is never replaced because it's the last one. Each player loses 1 life point at the start of their turn. If you play with the Wild West Show by itself, or if you put them in the deck together, you could either have Wild West Show or High Noon, like I was saying, be the last card, but one of these has to be the last card and then not be placed. With Wild West Show, the goal of each player becomes be the last one to play. So this one, you just want to be the last person standing. That's all. But we're not playing with this expansion right now, but we are playing with some of the cards, just not the cards themselves. Sorry. So it's the sheriff's second turn, and he has an idea so far. Well, he at least knows who one of the bad guys are because no one else has attacked him. He probably thinks this guy's the deputy, but he might also be the renegade because the renegade wants to kill the sheriff himself. So you know he might be just saving the sheriff here. So he's gonna play. He has a shotgun. It only reaches distance of 1 though, but each time he hits a player, they must discard a card from choice of his hand.